Picture standing outside in the middle of a brutal 40-degree heat wave. You're sweating through your clothes, and every breath feels like taking a draft directly from an open oven. Now look down at your arm. You are a virtually hairless ape, aggressively leaking precious body water through millions of microscopic pores directly into the sun, to almost every other land mammal on Earth. This design makes no sense at all. Fur shields skin from scorching solar radiation. Water is the rarest commodity in a drought. Stripping off your protective coat and constantly dumping your body's vital liquid reserves into thin air should have been an evolutionary death sentence. And yet, 2 million years ago, on an East African savanna, where the ground radiated heat like a furnace, this bizarre blueprint did something impossible. Extreme heat didn't destroy our ancestors, it forged them. What actually happened under that burning sky will completely change how you view your own body, because extreme heat wasn't a crisis we barely survived. It was the exact crucible that made us human. You've probably been told that when the prehistoric world grew unbearably hot, early humans did the logical thing. They cowered in cool caves, hid in the deepest shade, or migrated toward temperate horizons. That story is completely wrong. Ancient humans didn't run from the heat wave. We stepped directly out into it and weaponized it. Picture the East African savanna during a Pleistocene heat wave right at high noon. The air is suffocating, and the dark soil has absorbed so much solar radiation that ground surface temperatures hit a searing 60 to 70 degrees Celsius. Standing on that dirt felt like hovering directly over an open wood-fired oven. When ambient air crosses 40 degrees, the savanna goes dead silent. Apex predators, lions, leopards, hyenas, lay completely limp in deep shade, hyperventilating violently just to keep their brain temperatures from spiking into lethal territory. The entire food chain is effectively paralyzed by heat stress, except for one creature. Walking intentionally straight through the distorted, shimmering heat haze is an upright human. Their skin is plastered with wet river clay to slow the burn, smelling of metallic urea and scorched dust, with shoulders and brow caked in a crusty white lattice of crystallized salt. While every deadly carnivore on the continent was pinned down by the sky, our ancestors realized something incredible. The blistering midday sun was a trap for everyone else and an open door for us. This exploit was made possible by one of the most radical physiological redesigns in planetary history. Our ancestors made two risky evolutionary bets. They shed their thick body hair and they stood up on two legs. Standing tall changed the game. At high noon, a four-legged animal absorbs solar heat across its entire back, like a 1,000-watt light pointed straight down its spine. But an upright human presents only a fraction of their body area to the sun, cutting direct solar radiation by a massive 60%. Even better, getting your head 5 feet off the ground lifts you out of the blazing ground blast zone and into passing breezes that move up to 300% faster. Then came the real masterstroke, uncoupling our breathing from our movement. A galloping antelope is trapped in a mechanical nightmare. Its lungs are physically compressed by every bounding stride, meaning it cannot run and pant at the same time. Humans broke that link completely. We didn't need to pant. Instead, our brains fired signals to between 2 and 4 million eccrine sweat glands mapped across our naked skin, pumping up to 2.5 liters of fluid every single hour. As that liquid hits dry air, physics takes over. Every single gram of evaporating water forcibly rips 2.42 kilojoules of thermal energy straight out of the blood capillaries, running right underneath your skin. At maximum output, a sweating human generates roughly 1.5 kilowatts of cooling power. That is the exact thermal output of a mid-sized home window air conditioner cranked on full blast, built directly into human skin. You can see this biological superweapon in action today with the sand bushmen of the Kalahari Desert. In 40-degree heat, a hunter locked in a persistence hunt doesn't try to outrun a fast antelope in a short sprint. He doesn't have to. He just keeps moving forward, relentlessly hour after hour. The antelope is far faster, but every bounding stride compresses its chest cavity, meaning it has to stop moving completely just to pant and dump heat. The human hunter doesn't stop. He dumps thermal energy continuously on the move, breathing easily while his skin cools his blood. Eventually, the prey hits a biological wall. Its internal heat exchange systems are completely overwhelmed. Its core temperature spikes past 42 degrees, and its brain begins to denature like an egg white. The animal collapses from heat stroke, defeated not by sharp teeth or spears, but by pure thermodynamics. This extreme evolutionary crucible left weird biological signatures written all over your body right now. Ever wonder why we shed almost all our body fur, but retained a dense mop right on top of our heads. It isn't for aesthetics. It is an evolutionary solar hat. Thick hair on the crown of your head insulates your delicate brain from direct solar radiation beating down from above, while allowing scalp sweat to seep out underneath and evaporate. And if you've ever had an intense, uncontrollable craving for salty snacks after sweating on a hot summer afternoon, you are feeling an ancient survival code firing inside your brain. Sweating at maximum capacity drains critical sodium out of your bloodstream. On the savanna, running out of salt meant fatal brain swelling and heart failure. To keep you alive, your brain built a massive dopamine reward system for the taste of salt. In a world where heat was constant and salt was rare, that craving kept your ancestors alive. Today, sitting in an air-conditioned room, it gives us high blood pressure, a strange lingering relic from the days when humans ruled the hottest hours on Earth. To master those scorching hours, our ancestors didn't just rely on sweat glands, they engineered mobile water infrastructure across hyper-arid deserts. Deep in South Africa, inside the Diepkloof rock shelter, archaeologists unearthed over 270 engraved ostrich eggshell fragments dating back 60,000 years. These weren't mere decorations. They were standardized, tough-as-nails water canteens. Early humans etched distinct geometric map codes into the shells to track ownership and supply routes, then buried them a meter deep under cool sand. At that depth, shielded from the blazing sky, these subterranean reservoirs kept drinking water, cold right through a week-long 45-degree heat wave. When you run the thermal math, the physical advantage is staggering. At high noon, a quadruped absorbs radiant heat, equivalent to sitting directly under a 1,000-watt halogen work light, pointed straight down its spine. To keep from dying, it is forced to stop, lay flat, and pant. A standing human absorbs the thermal load of just a 300-watt light, focused purely on top of their head. This erect posture reduced our total daily water loss by up to 29%, all while our naked skin dumped 1,500 watts of pure heat energy straight back into the air. And here's the dark twist of our evolution. Pushing through extreme heat wasn't a passive struggle to survive. It was an aggressive, calculated predatory choice. By hunting strictly between noon and 3 in the afternoon, early humans deliberately exploited a temporal niche that no other large predator could enter. While lions and leopards lay completely paralyzed by heat stress, we walked into the sun. Prey animals rely on a specialized blood vessel mesh called the carotid rete to cool their brains. But under a continuous pursuit in high heat, that system snaps. The animal's core temperature spikes past 42 degrees, and its brain literally begins to denature like an egg white, cooking inside its skull before the creature even hits the ground. When an unexpected heat wave trapped ancient hunters far from any waterhole, survival demanded extreme ingenuity. If lethal dehydration set in, a hunter would slice open the rumen of a dead antelope and squeeze the greenish, partially digested plant pulp through a piece of hide. What dripped out was a lukewarm, mineral-rich fluid, a desperate life-saving draft. To fight the burning sun, tribes would mix fresh elephant dung with wet river clay and plaster the slurry across their heads and shoulders. As that organic paste slowly evaporated into the dry desert wind, it acted as a slow-release thermal shield, dropping skin temperatures by up to 10 degrees Celsius. To us, drinking stomach liquid and smearing animal waste across our skin sounds like pure desperation. But look at the physics under the hood. Extracting sodium and moisture from digested plants was simply the world's first electrolyte drink. Wearing wet clay and organic paste was the original evaporative cooling vest. Every piece of high-tech gear we use to fight heat today, from sports drinks and hydration packs to advanced cooling fabrics worn by modern athletes, is just a sterile reboot of the exact thermodynamic exploits that kept our ancestors alive. So the next time you step out of the summer heat into an air-conditioned room, or reach for an ice-cold sports drink after a heavy sweat, remember what is really happening. You're executing an ancient biological program, hard-coded on the burning African savanna 2 million years ago. But our modern comfort has introduced a dangerous glitch. Because so many of us grew up in climate-controlled spaces set to a cozy 21 degrees, up to 50% of our childhood sweat glands never fully activated. If a power grid collapses during an extreme heat wave today, a modern human is actually far more biologically vulnerable than a Homo erectus was 1.5 million years ago. We didn't conquer this planet because we were the strongest, fastest, or most lethal predator in the jungle. We conquered it because when the sky turned into a furnace and the rest of the animal kingdom fell to its knees, we were the only species on Earth capable of stepping out into the sun and keeping our cool.